Good morning, YouTube, and good morning, Romeo Golf operators and Romeo Golf friends. We're going to try this. We just got the YouTube set up, and we want to make this announcement. This coming Saturday, August 12th, 2023, we are going to be doing our Romeo Golf monthly check ins. And we're going to do it a little different this year, and we're going to try this and see if it works. I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for um, a longer check-in period, so more folks can have a little more fun checking in. And the way we're going to operate this or start this, we're going to kind of be following in the gray line as far as our scheduling and our shifts go. So, in the past, we've had a set time, central time, that we went with, and then we had an early bird session. Well, the way we're going to do it now, if we start on the eastern coast with that particular eastern time zone, we won't even have to worry about an early bird. Those of us who get up and like to drink a little bit of coffee, we'll be able to get up and hopefully hear our state coordinators coming in. And let me explain how this is going to work real briefly. Um, well, I never do anything briefly. Let me just explain how this is going to work. It's a trick, my wife says. We're going to start out on the East Coast. We're going to have two uh, state coordinators, or we're going to have two nets on the East Coast at 8 o'clock. They'll start at 8 o'clock. And then they'll do a 2 hour shift. And then we'll go to the central time zone and we'll have two nets there. And they will do a 2 hour shift. Once their 2 hours is up, we move over to the mountain time zone and we have two nets there. Uh, and they will do a 2 hour shift. Then when we get to the west coast, the Pacific time zone, we're going to have two shifts there. The first shift starting uh, at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It will close at 1 p.m. Pacific. Then we'll have another net come on from 1 p.m. Pacific and it'll go to 3 p.m. So if you take that 3 p.m. their time and go all the way back to the East Coast, folks, we've got a full, complete day of radio fun. Nobody's being overworked. All of the nets that are busy doing their job, once their shift is over, they can participate in the rest of the radio check-ins. All right, so here's what we do. Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, beginning Eastern Time. 2 Romeo Golf 9962 Mark out of Ohio, and 2 Romeo Golf 1265 Scotty out of Florida. They're going to come on. We've got one in the north, we've got one in the south. They'll run their 2 hour shift. When they get done, then we've got the central time zone that will start their time, central time. They will start at 9 a.m. Central Time. 2RG or 2 Romeo Golf 075 Alabama Train Man. And 2RG Romeo Golf 1788 Charlie out of Mississippi. They will come on and they will act as nets. They'll do their 2 hours. Then at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, there will be two more nets that come on. 2 Romeo Golf 104 Jeff out of Arkansas, whoever he is. And 2 Romeo Golf 1465 Bill out of Texas. And you say, well, they're not in the Mountain Time Zone. They don't have to be. They just have to start in the Mountain Time Zone. Okay? So we're still following that gray line. So they will do their 2-hour shift. And then the last leg of the race, so to speak, here is the Pacific time zone. So when the mountain time zone ends at 12, then Butch, 2 Romeo Golf, 8:36, and Mark, 2 Romeo Golf, 47:44, will start their 2-hour shift. And you're saying, wait a minute, Mark's in Pennsylvania. Once again, doesn't matter. He starts on the Pacific time zone. So if if we have the skip that's coming in better from the East Coast, 4 hours later, we've got the West Coast and the East Coast shooting together. All right. Once they get done with theirs, we got the Lone Ranger out there. He's going to come on, and he's going to bring up the tail end. When Butch and Mark get done at 1 p.m. Pacific, Romeo 2 Romeo Golf 007 Jerry in the lower part of California, he'll come on from 1 o'clock in the afternoon, his time, and go to 3 o'clock. So you see, once we're done, if you track 3 o'clock from California all the way back, there's a full day and nobody's overworked. All right. The other thing that I want to share with you guys is our recruiting director, 2 Romeo Golf 786 Stacy. He will be on standby for anybody that's looking for a pending number to become a Romeo Golf. He will also be on standby for those that need verifying. He'll be able to jump in and verify you. Also, anyone that's doing check-ins, if you are a pending Romeo Golf member out there that has not made your confirmation contact yet, you will be able to do that during check-ins. All right. We're going to open this thing up the best we can. Now, the only thing that we ask for is because we want to try to use this system also in giving A numbers and B numbers. And that doesn't mean anything to you, and it doesn't have to. But you see, when each net gets done with their progressive number list, they will contact the next ones coming on and say, this is where you start. This is where we ended. So we'll have a progressive march that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast. So please, operators, guests, and visitors, only one contact, only one check-in contact. Now, if you want, keep it to a minimum. If you want to say hi to somebody while we're checking in or ask somebody how to do it, that's fine, because that's what check-ins is all about. You know, back in the day when it started, the check-ins were to make sure that all of your radio friends and stuff were doing well, to check on people, to make sure that everybody was doing well. And if someone had passed away, then that would be relayed to the moderator of the check-in or the net. So that was the whole purpose of it back then. So we still want to keep that purpose, but we want to have a little fun with it too. So please, one check-in only. Now, like I said, if you want to grab somebody and move to another frequency and just talk your little head off, you go for it. That's what radio's about, and that's what we want. And I do want to right now, before I get any further, thank you to all of our coordinators that are working this Saturday shift. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Uh, it, it, it's going to take a lot to do this, but I think it's going to run a lot smoother, and nobody's going to get burnt out. Nobody's going to get burnt out. And the other thing is, there's nothing. If you commit to do an 8-hour shift and there's no skip rolling in, that's boring. It's aggravating. It's frustrating. It makes you want to throw rocks. So by doing a 2-hour shift, um, you know, you might get in on the skip later on, but you're still contributing just as much as if you were doing an 8-hour shift and not getting any skip at all. So, and we'll have to look and see what the propagation is going to be, but we want to try it this way. I think we'll have a lot of fun with this. And the one other thing I want to share with everybody, you're hearing me use some terms, net. You hear me use terms, coordinators. Listen, we're getting away from the old stigma of net director, because the problem with net director is over the years, it's lost its true meaning. And everybody thinks a net director is someone that just sits by the radio and takes check ins, and that's all they do. So, with that being said, our net director position is being phased out, and we're going to state coordinators, which is the same thing. But we want our state coordinators, or net directors, if you will, to have a little more authority, a little more control over how they operate things within their own areas. And by doing that, you know, they can put together meet and greets. They can put together round table discussions. Listen, the coordinator can set up a pop up anytime they want to. You know, if they, and they can call their pop up. You know, we have a Caddyshack pop up. We're going to throw in another one later on called the Pro Shop. And on these hot days, you know, if you want to call it the Dash and Splash pop up check in, hey, go for it. We're wanting to open this up to our coordinators to be more than just someone who helps out with check ins on a monthly basis. So, with that being said, all of our coordinators for our check-ins here do not have to be net directors or state coordinators. They can be anyone on our verification team. They can be a liaison. They can be a spotter. They can be a state coordinator. They can be a Romeo Golf elected official. They can be an appointed official. They can be the administration. They can be the staff. So we're just trying to make it so everyone has an opportunity to get checked in, have fun with it, not get wore out, not get burnt out, and be able to grow the group. Also, um, I will go ahead and make this mention. I've done it on our Facebook page, but we want to welcome Romeo Golf 137, Terry Morgan out of Alabama. Uh, Alabama boys, you know, are kind of tough, and they're used to marching to a different drum, and that means they get things done. They don't stop marching till it's done. So he has been promoted to net commander, and that net commander is kind of overseeing all of our state coordinators, our spotters, our liaisons, and any other positions that might slip in there. I will tell you this. We are needing some volunteers. If you think that you might want to be a spotter or a liaison or a state coordinator, you need to contact me. We have very few in the Mountain Time Zone. I think we've got some in Montana, uh, but and we have some in Colorado. But we need we need a few more spotters. Our whole goal about spotting is in liaison is to grow the group and make it a little interesting for those that are trying to get into the group by putting more spotters out there so that if skip conditions are located in one area, hopefully you can make that contact with a little more ease, but still make it a challenge to do so. And the way skip has been the last couple of weeks, anything out there is going to be a challenge. All right, August 12th, Romeo Golf check in, coordinators shift schedule. It will be posted on the Facebook page. Very simple, breaking it down. We start on the East Coast at 8 p.m. and we wrap it up on the 8 a.m. Thank you. See, 104. She's over there. She's on top of this stuff. I haven't had enough coffee yet. So we start at 8 a.m. in the Eastern time zone, and we work our way across the United States all the way to the Pacific time zone. All right. Somebody says, well, what about our divisions overseas? Same thing. All they've got to do is start on their time zone. Uh, we right now we don't have any skip that's rolling in from that direction, but basically they would start at their time zone. If they're 8, wherever their 8 a.m. is, if they want to use universal time, they can start there uh, when skip is rolling for them. And what we're hoping that is we will catch some of the gray lines, some of the backscatter, all those other fancy names that I'm getting too old to remember. But so if we work it on the time zone schedule, I think it's going to work pretty smoothly. And if it doesn't, um, I remember there was a deacon that used to be a deacon here at the Little River Missionary Baptist Church years ago, and his name was Tobe. And his philosophy was this: when they would have a deacon meeting, something would be brought up, and they say, "Well, what do you think?" And he says, "Well, I say let's give it a try, and if it doesn't work, we'll do something else." So we're going to give this a try. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But I think it's going to work. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I think it'll take a lot of load off of our coordinators, those who are doing the check ins and those who are monitoring. I think it'll be a little easier on everyone. And it won't just be 7 or 8 net directors, used to be net directors, coordinators out there all at once. Kind of being in competition to see who can get somebody checked in. We're going to do it this way. I think it'll come out a lot smoother. Anyway, have a great day. This is my first little YouTube live stream. And so far, we haven't skipped. We haven't had to reconnect. So maybe this is going to be better than doing it from the phone. All right. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you soon. CQ, Romeo Golf 104, standing by.